Hey everybody, welcome back. My name is Abby with Fitness is Medicine, and today I'm going to take it down a notch. I'm going to give you a workout that you can do maybe before you get out of bed in the morning, or if you want to take a light afternoon exercise session and lie down in your bed and move a little bit. You can also do this on the floor, on an exercise mat, things like that. But I want to give you something that's simple to do to just start moving if you're having trouble with motivation or if you're having kind of a low energy day and you need something simple to just move. You don't always have to do a really hard workout. Sometimes something simple and just getting you moving can help propel you onto a successful day. So we're going to do this. I'm going to lie down on this bench here. You can do whatever you have in your home. Like I said, this is something you can do in your bed. I don't recommend that you do all lying down or seated exercises in your bed, but this would work. You don't need a super firm surface for these. And there's other exercises you can do, but I've chosen 7 here that you can do on your bed or on the edge of your bed or, just even on the floor and on a chair. Whatever you have. Like here, I'm going to do it on a bench outside because it's a beautiful day and I thought I'd take advantage. So we're going to start with leg lifts. Oh, and the only piece of exercise equipment I'm going to use today is a band, and you really don't even need that. But I'm going to use a band for a hip exercise that we're going to do lying down, and that's really all you need, that and a pillow. So I'm going to lie down, and we're going to start with leg lifts. So if you are having trouble moving around, if you're having trouble with your motivation, let's start with some leg lifts. So one leg bent, one leg straight, and we're going to lift and lower one leg. This is something that we've done in past workouts, but it's just really something you can easily do in your bed if you're, laying there thinking, I can't do it today. I just can't do it today. We can move a little. We can start moving and try to propel you on to the rest of your day. So I am leaving this in the range of motion where I'm just coming up to meet my bent knee and then almost all the way down, but not setting it down. So I'm keeping my back flat into the bed or into the bench to really protect my low back. We'll do 10 or 12. You can do as many as you want as long as you're not having any hip pain or anything. And then we'll switch sides. Remember, you're keeping your back flat into the mat or the bed or the floor, protecting that low back. All right. And the more slowly you go, the more those muscles are going to work. So this is a really good way to do some quad contractions without putting your knee at risk if you do have a lot of knee pain. All right, next we're going to do hip abduction. So you can either do this lying down like I just was. I'm just going to use this band. You can use any type of band that you have. I'm going to wrap this around my knees like this and just hold it and then press out against that band. So this is hip abduction. And if you do have hip pain, you might want to use a lighter band. But also you can do this seated as well. I'm just going to do it lying down just to demonstrate. If you do have back pain with this, then I would sit up. So just holding it like this and pressing out against it. So we're working those glutes in a really safe range of motion. You can control the resistance with the band. If you need less of a resistance, hold it looser, and conversely, you can hold it tighter. You can use any type of tube or band for this. And now, opposite of that, I don't have a pillow sitting here, but I'm going to use my band like a pillow. So you could just grab a pillow from your bed or from your sofa or wherever and stick it in between your knees, and we're going to squeeze. So what I want you to do is hold it for about 5 seconds. There's no rules for this one. You can grab a blanket, you can grab, just a stuffed toy or whatever. I'm using this tube, and really that's all it needs. You can also just put your hands between your knees. You just don't want your knees kind of grinding against each other, so something in between those knees. Press and hold for 2, 3, 5 seconds. The slower you go and the longer you hold it, the more of a contraction you're going to get. This is working your adductors, and these are both working hip stabilizers. This can be a really weak area So really working on these hip stabilizers can be a really important thing in your day. They don't seem like much until you start doing them, and then you realize like, whoo, it can be quite difficult by the end of 10. I'm going to go through each of these one time, but you can cycle through them. You can also just kind of do one or two of them if you need help getting out of bed in the morning and you want to get your muscle pumps going before you stand up, that type of thing. But these are really good ones to just kind of do in succession if you need just a light, easy workout for the day. Okay, next we're going to lie back down on our backs and do double knee lifts. So, similar to all of the exercises that I tell you, when we're in this position on your back, you want to flatten your back to the mat. So press your spine down into the mat or into the bed or the bench or wherever you are. And we're going to lift both legs. I always say lift your knees towards your nose. And then if you can, don't set them down. So just bring them to about here and then bring them back up. See that I'm keeping my knees bent and I'm really pressing my back into this bench. You can see because it's a nice flat surface, I'm not letting that arch up. If you find yourself, if you get here and then, oh, it arches at the end, stop and readjust, flatten it again, and then go. And if you can't get more than 2 or 3 without that arching, then go ahead and put your feet down every time. Press back into that and readjust every single time so that you don't put any stress on that back. I'm keeping my knees bent. I don't want to straighten them here. We're doing a nice, easy, gentle. We're getting a good ab contraction here. Also, you want to go nice and slowly. So a tendency, if you're doing this in your bed, might be to let them drop and bounce off the bed. And you don't want to do that. You're not actually engaging any muscles there. You're getting some range of motion, which is good, but you really want to engage that core. So really control this motion slowly both directions. Okay, good. Those are double knee lifts. If you absolutely can't do those without back pain, alternate and do one knee at a time. And that's okay because you're getting the same motion and you're still engaging this, but to a much less degree. And then you're helping protect your back much more by having one foot on the ground and leaving that in that space so you can really keep that back flat. Okay, next we're going to sit up on the edge. Refresh my screen here. We're going to do some side reaches. I really like this one because it wakes up the spine and it wakes up your core. And so you can either find something to reach for or you can just reach. So I'm going to spread my feet apart nice and wide, sit up on the edge. And if you have a really high bed, this might not work. So you might want to sit in a kitchen chair or, if you have a chair beside your bed or something, or a bench at the end of your bed. So I want you to reach as far as you can, both directions. So I'm twisting. Notice that I'm kind of shifting my weight in my feet. Reach as far as you can to either side. Imagine that someone is holding out something over here that you want to touch. It's a good stretch and a good reach. We're activating that core a little bit. We're waking up your spine, moving those hips around. And then you can even involve your legs a little more if you want and kind of get a good stretch out back like this. Or you can just leave them bent like this. However you might be feeling, you just want to get a good reach. This may be a good Saturday morning stretch workout routine, or, maybe midweek, just depending on how your day's going, how you're feeling, how your meds might be working for the day. Really reaching all the way to the other side. It's twisting. Let's do one more on each side. Okay, good. Now we're going to stay up on the edge here and we're going to march. So you can put your hands here for a little assistance. And I just want you to march up your knees like this. So we're going to do all of these seated or laying down in your bed. You don't have to do any of them. You don't have to stand up. Of course, you can stand and march if you are wanting to. This might work a little better on a higher surface, so if you do have a higher bed, it gives you a little more chance for a range of motion. If you're on a low surface, like this is kind of a low bench, but lift up those knees as high as you can. And also go slowly with this. So just like I say with most of these, the slower you go, the more benefit you're getting. You're recruiting more muscle fibers. Some of the things that we do in other exercises, we want to do, you know, sometimes we do some agility in the gym and we want to do that more quickly, but these we're focusing on slow. All right, and for the final one, I'm going to move my camera down just a little bit. I just want you to do some heel-toe raises. So I want you to go as high as you can on your toes and then as high as you can on your heels. So really rocking back and forth, getting that range of motion. Think about when you go up on your toes, when you bring them back, you're spreading your toes, and then when you go forward, you want to think about spreading them out. You don't even have to wear shoes for this one, but I have shoes on. Spread your toes out when you go up on those toes. We want as big a range of motion here as you can. Getting those muscle pumps going. If you have plantar fasciitis, these are good ones too to do before you stand up in the morning, because if you do have that, that's typically where it hurts the most in the morning. All the way up and all the way down. Yeah, so you want to get some good stretching and some good range of motion before you put some pressure on it, before you stand up. Also keep a good pair of sandals or something next to the bed so you can have that, so you're not standing on a flat foot. Okay, great. That is it for today. Remember, this is just a good one to use on those days where movement is hard. So you can also use this kind of as a cool down after a bigger workout if you want. There's a lot of different ways that you can use workouts like this. If you want to go through it once and be like, okay, well, at least I started moving, I got some muscle contraction, it was something for the day. That's what this is for today. So please message me, let me know if you have any questions, or if you need to make some of these easier, or if you want to, expand on these. I'm here. Message me and let me know. All right, have a great weekend, everybody, and I'll see you next week. Take care.